Mr Innes, please. Mr Innes, I want to follow up some of the questions about your role and follow-up questions that Senator Singh was asking. One of the great concerns I have is the number of complaints may escalate around the issues of employment, and Professor Triggs in her opening comments made comments about the high numbers of complaints around employment. I'm particularly concerned with the new changes that are coming into the DSP, for example, that we're going to see an increased number of complaints around disability. Have you given any thought to this, and if so, do you have comments on it?
Well, I think your concerns are valid, Senator. I think there will be an increase in complaints in the area of employment of people with disabilities. The problem is that people with disabilities of working age are employed at 54% of us are employed, whereas 87% of the general population are employed. So there's a significant employment gap. And so what the changes to the disability support pension do are, if you like, punish people who I know are looking to find jobs. People on the disability support pension don't want to be on $19,000 a year. They want to be working in the community. But I mean, what we don't have and what we haven't had from this government and the previous government is a jobs plan, because what we need to do is move people with disabilities off the DSP and into employment. And you know, the public service has a lamentable record in this regard. You know, my activities, much of what I have done as Disability Discrimination Commissioner is work with companies and the government to increase the levels of employment of people with disabilities. In some private companies, that's been very successful. In others, I've been less able to engage positively. But I think inevitably the numbers of complaints in this area will increase, and I think there's some systemic work which will need to be done by someone in the role of Disability Discrimination Commissioner. It'll be much harder for them to do that work if they don't have the lived experience of disability and have a knowledge of the sector and are able to devote their full time to it.
Thank you. Could I ask the percentage of complaints that you receive as Disability Commissioner? What percentage of the complaints you receive are employment related?
Well, I don't receive the complaints, Senator. So
sorry, that
the
you
President
handle,
receives the complaints, but I understand the point of your question. So it's about 40 to 45% of complaints relate to employment of people with disabilities.
Okay, so that's of the 39% of the complaints
in the area of disability.
In
That's
the area
correct.
of disability, 45, nearly half of those relate to employment.
Yes.
And Mr Innes, you made the comment you made about punishing people. Can you expand on what you mean about punishing people?
Oh, well, punishing people by requiring them to be reassessed when they've already been assessed by qualified medical personnel for the disability support pension, I think is a punishment in two ways. Firstly, it's taking away a benefit that's already been provided, but secondly, it's taking up the time that such people have to be out looking for jobs. And I've been approached by many people on the disability support pension, very worried about the impact of these decisions. And I know those people are out looking for jobs. I mean, I don't know anyone on the disability support pension who enjoys being on the disability support pension, and I've met many of them in the time that I've been in this role.
Thank you. Were you at all, was there any discussions, were you involved in any discussions, avoiding the word consultation, on the decisions that were made by government on the position of Disability Commissioner?
Senator, the first that I knew about this issue was when I read it in the budget papers, which was a bit surprising to me because it's been the normal practice in my experience at the Commission for there to be discussions when these things are going to occur. And I had been contacting the ministers and the office and the department for the past 3 or 4 months for several reasons. Firstly, obviously, I was interested to know what plans I should be making, or whether there was any consideration of the possibility of reappointment. But secondly, and more significantly, Senator, the previous appointment process, in my view, put the Commission at significant risk of losing its A status under the Paris Principles because there wasn't an open appointment process. And I was keen to encourage the Department and the Minister to appoint a Disability Discrimination Commissioner who, through an applications process, which has been the practice, and through an open process because I was concerned from the Commission's point of view about the risk to our A status. I was not provided with the opportunity to have those discussions, and as I say, the first I knew that the position was to be downgraded was when I read it on the night of the budget in the budget papers.
Thank you. Professor Triggs, can I ask you, were you consulted or any member of the Commission consulted, or was there any discussion around the downgrading of the Disability Commissioner position?
Well, we're not... Sorry, can I take that question? We're not downgrading any commissioners. These are statutory officers, and I don't think, Senator Siewert, you were here when I had to make this point to Senator Singh.
Yes, it was.
I'm sorry. Well,
I have heard it.
Then you know that we are not downgrading any commissioners for all but the last 3 years since 1997. For all but the last 3 years since 1997, the person who has been the Disability Discrimination Commissioner has also been responsible for another portfolio. So for anyone to characterise reverting to the usual position in relation to this statutory office as a downgrading is just wrong.
You're cutting the position of the Disability Discrimination Commissioner.
Senator Singh,
Senator
Singh, you're out of order. You are out of order, Senator Singh.
Senator
Siewert.
And Senator Siewert, in view of that interjection, perhaps I need to clarify this. You need to read budget paper number 2, the budget measures paper, which, and I can refer you to it if you like, it makes it perfectly clear that this is a reduction by 1 in the number of commissioners. It has nothing to do with any particular commissioner.
Can you guarantee there will be a commissioner who has the sole, position's sole responsibility is disability?
No,
because if you can't, you're downgrading it then.
No, we are not.
You are.
I can guarantee.
You've just heard how important it is and how many issues there are facing people with disability.
That's right.
That is a downgrade if it is not a full-time position.
Senator
This
Siewert,
is not a debate. If you have a question...
If it's not a debate,
Senator
Siewert,
Senator
please ask a question.
Perhaps should not be debating the issue.
Please ask a question.
Senator Siewert, I can guarantee that there will continue to be a Disability Discrimination Commissioner.
I have asked a question.
Well, can you repeat the question?
My question was to Professor Triggs as to whether she or anybody in the Commission had been consulted about the changing, so I don't set off Senator Brandis again, the changing of the Disability Commissioner position.
I'm just going to object if you put questions on the basis of false assertions, Senator Siewert.
Professor Triggs.
Professor Triggs.
Well, it is true to say that I've been in discussions with the attorney for many months about appointments to the Commission, including the future of the position for the Disability Commissioner. So we have been discussing that position in the wider context of a commission that now comprises 7 commissioners. At the moment, 6 after the budget. So we are still exploring how we will manage a commission that has a smaller budget. We have to take that hit to our budget, we have to manage it, and we have to manage the vital project work as well as administering our legislative responsibilities and meeting those responsibilities. So I have been discussing these with the attorney for some time.
Thanks, Professor Triggs.